All right. We are back here at Song of the Day, coming to you from the Rock Cave. I'm your host, Mark Pierce. What do I say? As usual, right? It is Wednesday, and you're saying to yourself, if you're a Cave Nation fan, if you're one of my top cavers out there, you're like, what? What the what? Why is he wearing Octane Friday's jacket? It's Wednesday, you crazy kook. Yep, that's right. I am wearing the jacket. It just felt right for today. Also, you're like, hey, it's Wednesday. It's Wanderlust Wednesday. Are you doing Wanderlust Wednesday? Nope, not. Mixing it up. Keeping you on your toes. All right. So, it's January 6th. Some of you who have been paying attention over the years know what January 6th is in my musical history. Wait for it. Some of you out there, do you know it? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? All right, so told this story before, and I'm going to tell it again for those of you who didn't listen the first time around. And for those of you who have heard this story 1,000 times, well, you get a little bit of time off, right? So we are going back to January 6th, 1985. That's why I got the jacket, and because of the concert. January 6th, 1985 is the anniversary of my first concert. It was a pretty big deal. See, as some of you know, I grew up in New Hampshire, and there were not a lot of concerts to be had in New Hampshire. Yes, it was in Hanover, where Dartmouth College is, and yes, after I moved, there was an epic Clash concert at Dartmouth College that I was not around for. Carl Pfefferkorn, you went. I can't even get over it to this day. Unbelievable what the Clash played Dartmouth College, and I had just left like the year or two before that. And some other shows, right? But if we wanted to go see a concert, if we were even entertaining the idea of going to a concert, we would have had to go like to Boston, right? So that was unheard of. I mean, that was like another country. But here we are in Hanover, and we have cable, and we have MTV. And I moved to Connecticut, where they have no cable, no MTV, but they do have the Hartford Civic Center and the Worcester Centrum and the New Haven Coliseum. And as I'm getting to learn my way around as a sophomore, I'm like, look at all these kids wearing their concert shirts. They all went to shows. That's pretty cool. I'd like to go see a show. Maybe I will go to a show one day. And the first show I ever wanted to go see, was that my first show? Well, it's one of the two. In any event, sounds about right. The first show I wanted to go to was Van Halen. Was it Van Halen? It's one of the first ones. I wanted to see Van Halen. I got denied. I wanted to see Yes, 90125 tour. Nope. Wanted to see Billy Idol, Rebel Yell. Nope. For some reason or another, I convinced my household to let me go to see Aerosmith at the Springfield Civic Center in January at the age of 16. I don't know how it happened, but it did. So that's a pretty epic first concert. I went with Burt Davis. Shout out to Burt. He's not on social media, but Cindy, you make sure you know I'm talking about him. Famously went with him, and I think we got our tickets with Keith Kernan, so he might have been there, rest his soul. But he was the person who you went to for tickets. You know, every high school had the guy that just got you tickets, you know, who just like hung out at Strawberries and waited in line and got the tickets at Ticketmaster or whatever. So it turns out that this was an epic snowstorm, and it was a blizzard, and we drove, and somehow or another, I think it was even a Sunday night. I know it was a school night. So we went to the show, and it was general admission, and there were a lot of no-show people because the storm was so bad, but we were hell-bent on going there. And now Aerosmith had broken up. They had broken up because of all their drugs, and they decided to get together and do a tour, and they didn't even have an album out yet. The Done with Mirrors tour, this is the Back in the Saddle tour. It became the Done with Mirrors tour like later on in the tour when they finally released that album. So they didn't even have an album to tour on. They were just like back in the saddle trying to see what would happen, playing some of their songs, and they were trying to get it all right. So from what I remember of the show, and I really liked the show, and I do remember a lot about the show. I do know that Burt was like, you know what, it's really snowing out there, and I think I just want to go home. And I don't remember exactly how it is. I mean, how do you run into people at a concert? But maybe it's because it was so few people there. But ran into Sean Murphy, you know, someone who went to my high school a year older than me. And Sean Murphy says, hey, yeah, you can get a ride home with me. Why don't you get a ride home with us? So that's exactly what happened. So, you know, back in the day, without cell phones and without talking to your parents, I just got a ride home from somebody else in a snowstorm. So that was pretty easy. And he did bring me home in a Mercury Cougar that was pretty epic. So we became lifelong friends after that. True story. So Aerosmith, I do not have my t-shirt. I remember I did get a t-shirt because I had to wear a t-shirt in school the next day because I finally had the coveted day after t-shirt. I want to hear about your high school t-shirts that you were most proud of, that you remember going to the show and wearing your shirt. And I'm sure some of you had some 3/4 baseball sleeves out there. I know, as a matter of fact, I know you did because I remember. And I also want to hear about your first concerts, you know, and I know some of you saw this tour. I even know some of you went to the same show. So what are we doing for song of the day? Well, I've done it before, and you know what? I got to do it. So I still got to do it. I mean, when you think about Aerosmith and you think about rock and roll, you got to hear it. It's not even, you know, you just got to hear this song. It's Train Kept A-Rollin. If you watch this performance on the Midnight Special, it's an unbelievable rock and roll performance. So we're putting that one on there. Now, I was an Aerosmith fan because, you know, one of the first records I ever listened to, thanks to my brother, was Toys in the Attic, really. So I was a big Toys in the Attic fan. And, you know, Sweet Emotion, I mean, all these great songs on there. And then that Greatest Hits came out, and Dream On, and I even liked Walking in the Sand. I played that song a lot, Walking in the Sand. I thought that, you never hear that anywhere, right? I mean, obviously, all the great songs, Walk This Way, everything. But we're going to do Train Kept A-Rollin', and you know what, I'll throw some Dream On there. Well, you know, we'll see what comes on underneath. We'll just throw a couple under there, but really, Train Kept A-Rollin' is an epic performance you need to see. We're talking Aerosmith in the Cave today, first concerts. We're talking Aerosmith, first concerts, t-shirts. Oh, speaking of t-shirts, I'm working on it. We're going to do a little segment about those of you who have Rock Cave t-shirts. We're going to do a little bit about that. And for those of you who said, Mark, what we should really do is talk about your t-shirts and just exactly how many you have. I'm working on a little project with that, so hopefully by this weekend we'll have that done too. So where are we at? Wow, 8.5 minutes. Kept you long. All right, Aerosmith, Cave. Oh, why do I have this drumstick? The other thing I want to mention. One thing, you know, I've seen a lot of concerts, hundreds and hundreds of concerts. I've been brought down closer to the stage. I've been front row. I've been elbows on the stage for Pearl Jam. But somewhere along the way, I never caught a drumstick and I never got a guitar pick. So I want to hear your stories about that. Where did you catch a drumstick? And where did you get a guitar pick from? And Alex Sullivan, I know you're out there. I think I remember hearing you going to a story. It was like the Agora Ballroom. It might even been a Twisted Sister show or a Maiden show or something. But I remember you explaining in the story in the back of the bus, because we rode in the back of the bus, trust me, that you had your hand up and that you had a drumstick hit your hand and you went to grab it and someone grabbed it and you were so bummed out. We were all like, oh, bummed out, as we listened to our boombox with 16D batteries. Anyway, I'd go on. I could keep going on, but I want to hear all your stories. It's fun today in the cave. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. Enjoy it. Train kept rolling all night long. Crank it up. This is a song. If you haven't played this song in a while, I mean, you got to play. You got to watch this. This is a good one. More good music coming your way, as usual. I'll catch you on the flip side.